This week on Surprise, we both love movies. We're going to be reviewing the movie Nobody, starring Bob Odenkirk, Christopher Lloyd, and the RZA. Odenkirk, who many fans will be familiar with his role on Better Call Saul, and the show before that, Aaron, your favorite show of all time?
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. He's just a regular, ordinary 9 to 5 guy who's got an auditing job or a financial job working for his father-in-law. He goes in, he punches into work every day. He's got a wife and 2 kids. He's really ho-hum, regular, everyday Joe. When all of a sudden one night, when he's checking on his kids, he decides to look in the kid's room, and all of a sudden he hears someone at the front door. Someone breaks into their house, and he goes down the stairs to investigate. Once he investigates, they pull a gun on him. The next thing you know, his son jumps down from downstairs and attacks the guy, and all of a sudden he's faced with a moral dilemma. He's got the jump on him. He can take advantage of the situation and take care of the robbers, or he can choose otherwise. And he makes a choice that resonates through the rest of the movie, and he decides not to enact violence in that moment. And he goes back and he has regrets. He rethinks what he did, and you get the feeling that he's just a regular ho-hum guy, and you come to find out that he actually has a lot more to him than meets the eye. Aaron, what do you think of the movie?
I really enjoyed this movie. You have expectations. If you've seen the trailer, you have expectations. And all those expectations are met in the film. All I could say is Doc Brown and a kitty bracelet. I mean, come on, you don't get any better than that. So there's some surprising stuff in this movie. I really liked the very beginning. This movie's only an hour and a half, so they do jump in pretty quickly. They make it very clear how miserable this guy's life is at the very beginning in a very unique way. And it does get you right in the gut. And then when things start to ramp up, and you get a kind of, it's done by the same people who did
John Wick.
John Wick. Yeah. It's funny when you forget the names when you're doing this, but John Wick. So John Wick, it's done by the same people, but this is a different type of film. It's not as visceral as John Wick. And I'll tell you what, nobody gets his butt kicked quite a bit in the film, but he can also give back. He unwittingly gets involved with some Russians in the film, which leads them onto this journey of there's got to be a resolution. I don't want to give too much away in the film. Just know that what you see in the trailer, you're going to get what you expect when you go to the movies. For me, it was very satisfying in that regard.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is definitely a movie. I mean, this is like, you know what, you're driving, all of a sudden you look off to the side of the road, there's an accident, and you're just going to look and watch, and then that's what this movie is. It's basically a kind of, I would say, a less intense, like you said, less visceral version of John Wick, and more like in the realm of reality in the sense that he's not super sexy like Keanu Reeves. He doesn't have all the action moves and the kung fu training, so he's more of a regular type of guy, but he's very adept and he's very skilled at what he does, but you don't get an idea of that until you get a little further along in the movie. But it's nothing, there's no depth to this movie. You're not going to walk away and be like, oh, remember that one scene? There's a lot of unique scenes, but there's not a lot of memorable scenes. Bob Odenkirk's character isn't anyone that's super fascinating or super exciting, or you don't get this background on him to make you go, oh, you know, I really, really understand everything there is to know about it. You get a kind of surface background, and all those things are filled in satisfactory. They're okay. There's no like big plot holes where you're like, well, that didn't make sense or this didn't happen. So it's all filled in nicely in a nice package that's easy to consume. And if you're a guy that, you know, you still watch Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone, this is right up that alley.
Yeah. Here's what really made the movie work. It was Bob Odenkirk himself. When you know him, the reason they cast him in this role is because of what you know of him in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. You don't see that guy in this role. And when you see him in this role, it is thoroughly entertaining from beginning until the end. There's more story to be told, too. This is kind of like John Wick, where you get a little bit of information as the movie goes on. And they do leave this open for more sequels and a much deeper world. And I would be very happy if they somehow connected this to John Wick in one way or another. I don't know if they would ever go that route, but I think it would be interesting to see them connect those worlds in one way or another, because the skills are obviously very similar, but also, you know, in this kind of where they definitely tell you where, well, he kind of tells you where he came from in some very unfortunate circumstances when people can't actually pay attention, which was one of the funny things in the film. I'm not going to say any more than that. When he starts to tell his story and you see who he's telling it to, it gets pretty funny throughout the film. So
yeah, I mean, basically,
what was your score on this?
Basically, before I get my score, here's what I think happened at the studio. Hey, we have a script that's just like John Wick, but not quite John Wick. Can we get the John Wick people? Okay. Who's the star attached to it? We don't have a star. What about Breaking Bad guy? No, not that guy. The other guy, the lawyer guy. All right, we're gonna put him in. All right, we can do that. That's what this movie felt like. It was very entertaining. And as a movie score, and this is solely a movie. This is a guys movie. It's not a date movie. It's like you and your buddies get together, or you're chilling at home late at night and pop it in, and you just want to see some action, see some people get killed. That's what this is, okay? So as a movie, I was able to give it a 7. It was entertaining throughout. It holds your attention, but at the end of the day, there's not really anything special. But what about you, Aaron?
I'd give it an 8. It is a movie. I mean, it is definitely a movie, and it's very adequate. That's what I'm looking for. It's adequate as a movie. Mm-hmm. But I don't agree with your assessment, because my wife was excited to see this movie, and we both walked away very satisfied with what we saw. Okay. And I do think it was more of casting him in the role, because you would never expect to see that guy do what he does. And he's the guy that, Better Call Saul is really popular. So
one of my favorite shows.
Yeah. And that's why he was chosen. So I would like to see sequels to the movie. Some areas were a little over the top, but I guarantee you sequels are coming. I'm telling you right now, mark my words, sequels are coming for sure.
Nobody wants to see a sequel. But it was good. It was entertaining.
Yeah.
So for this week, I'm Lamont Lovejoy.
I'm Aaron Fisher.
Thank you guys for supporting us on all of our platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, iTunes Podcast Store, and we'll see you guys next week.